In the previous video, we learned how to use the input element. Now we'll use the input element again to create checkboxes and radio buttons. So here we have a basic page, and on this page there is a form. Of course you can't see it here, but if we switch over to the HTML, there's our form right there. We have an action attribute and a method attribute. And we are going to create a poll about fruit, which consists of two questions. So our first question will be inside of a third level headline tag. And we'll say, which fruits do you like? And we'll make another one of these, which will say, what is your favorite fruit? Now, this first question has multiple answers, and this second question has just a single answer. To create our poll with these two different types of questions, we'll need to have two different types of form elements. So let's start with the first one, which fruits do you like? We're going to list out 4 things for people to pick from, and they'll be able to select more than one choice. The best way to handle this type of input is to use a group of checkboxes. And let's go ahead and create our first checkbox. So we'll use the input element, and it will be of type checkbox. We'll give it a name of fruit and a value of grapes. And we'll go ahead and close that. And we'll put the word grapes right next to it. So just to review, we have the type attribute set to checkbox, we have the name attribute set to fruit, and we have the value set to grapes. The name attribute is to group all of our checkboxes together, and the value is for this individual checkbox. So let's go ahead and type out the rest of these, and what I'd like you to notice is that we're using the same name attribute to keep this grouped together. The only thing we're changing is the value. So let's go ahead and just copy this, and we'll go ahead and paste this in. We'll have 4 answers, and we'll go ahead and change this to say strawberries. And we'll put our answer there in plain text. We'll change this one to say oranges and put that in plain text. And finally, we'll add in apples. Just like that. So let's go ahead and switch over to the browser and refresh the page. And there you can see we have our checkboxes, just like that. One minor thing that we should do is go ahead and separate these with line breaks. Ideally, you would do this with CSS, but because we're just using HTML, we'll go ahead and use the break tag. So we'll go to grapes here, and we'll put in a break right there, and we'll do the same thing right after strawberries, same thing after oranges, and same thing after apples. So that way, when we go ahead and refresh the page, we have some nicely formatted checkboxes just like that. When you submit a form with a checkbox group, like the one that we've created here, only the boxes that are checked will submit their values. All others will be ignored. Additionally, if you wanted to have another checkbox group for a different question, you would want to group them all together using a different name attribute. So let's go ahead and move on. The next question is, what is your favorite fruit? This question will have multiple choices, but the user should only be able to submit a single answer. The best approach for these questions is to use radio buttons. Radio buttons are very similar to checkboxes. So let's go ahead and switch back to our text editor, and we'll go ahead and copy the checkboxes that we've created, and we'll go ahead and paste them in just like that. And we'll change these type attributes to say radio. And of course, we also need to change the name attribute because this is a different group. So we'll add in the word favorite, just like that. So this group will be favorite fruit. And we can go ahead and keep all of the values the same. And of course, no form would be complete without a submit button. So let's go ahead and add that in. We'll create an input element, and the type attribute will be set to submit, and we'll go ahead and close it just like that. Now when we switch back to the browser and refresh, you can see that we now have nice radio buttons, and because they're all part of the same group, when I click on one, the other one will be deselected, just like that. That pretty much covers it for the input element. In the next video, we'll learn how to use the select element to create drop-down menus.